What are y'all doing here? Well, first off, I have to ask, why are you doing this?
Okay. After Matt and I ran across the Philippines in 2005, I felt that it didn't have to be the end of a long-time dream to run across the Philippines, but the start of many other dreams. So after much thought, thinking if I had to do it again, where would I go and what would I do? I thought, well, maybe the United States. It's been done by at least 200 people, so it's doable. Plus, there are a lot of Filipinos scattered across the state, so I figured we could get some support.
What kind of message do you want to give those Filipino people, as you're running?
That anything is possible with hard work, commitment, and the belief in oneself. And also, we have two beneficiaries for this project. The first is the Social Services Division of the Philippine Heart Center. Matt had open heart surgery a year ago, and the Philippine Heart Center took good care of him, so we'd like to, this is our way of giving back and saying thank you to the Heart Center. The second beneficiary is the anti-TB program of the Inner Wheel Club of Quezon City. Chuck and I are survivors of tuberculosis, and this is our contribution to that group. So, so many people have helped make our dream of running across the Philippines and the United States come true, and we'd like to make the dreams of other people come true as well.
Matt, again, I asked you this before, but how do you prepare for a large run like this? More than 3,000 miles, 120 days. I mean, how do you prepare her? How do you prepare yourself? Because I know you're going to be running alongside with her.
Yeah, actually, we prepared long time and everyday run 2 hours, dalawang oras everyday to run, and then we run outside in Manila hanggang Nasugbo.
50 kilometers.
50 kilometers.
100 kilometers, yeah.
Yeah, I want you to add to that. I mean, how do you prepare yourself for this mentally and physically?
Well, physically, it's 2-hour runs 3 to 4 times a week, and then a long 50-kilometer run once a month. Mentally, yeah, it's just really focusing, remembering what you're here, what you're here, what your objective is, and just staying on track. Staying on track.
And Chuck, put this in perspective. I mean, how difficult is her task?
Well, the difficulty is like, can be compared to climbing Mount Everest. Climbing the top is about 8 kilometers vertical. Running across the U.S. is something like 5,000 kilometers horizontal. There are more than 1,500 people who have already climbed Mount Everest. But as she said, there are only about 200 people who have run across America. It is something, a feat that we will be proud of when she finishes. She'll not only be the first Filipina to do it, but also the first Southeast Asian woman to complete the task.
Now, you also made a great analogy about her and Manny Pacquiao.
Well, as I always say, Manny Pacquiao, I'm a great fan of his. He's a 1 to 90 million. He's a prize fighter. Joy is not a prize runner, but she is also a 1 in a 90 million.
When you hear those type of encouraging thoughts, but you hear so many negative things, how do you respond to all those negative comments? Do you just put that in the back of your mind and just push the positive thoughts forward?
Well, I'm only human, so I get affected also when I hear discouragement or doubt. But then at the end of the day, I just keep reminding myself, it's such a privilege that I've gotten here by some strange, I don't know, some strange thing. I just was dreaming about running across the United States, and now I'm here. So there must be a reason why I'm here. And, you just have to go for it. Not everybody has this privilege of being able to do this. So just go for it.
Perfect. All right, so now just some background. When did you start being a runner? I know that you are a rider. You do that for a living.
Right.
So tell the people.
Okay, I started running when I was close to my 30th birthday. In Manila, I work as a writer, so I do a lot of sitting and thinking, and it got to a point where I just got tired of sitting and thinking. I said I'd get up, move, and not think. And I started running first, just around the village where I live, and I got curious with distances, so I started joining races from the 5K to the full marathon of 42 kilometers. And I was having fun, but it reached a point where it was more about how fast I ran, who I beat, did I make it in the top 10, and less about running. And I wanted to go back to running as a happy experience. It's a lot of reflection and prayer, and also appreciating the beauty around you. And I just wanted that. So I quit racing and I just put my own runs together.
Tell us about the difficulties of running. What kind of message do you want to give to those people who want to get into running?
Wow, it's a great sport in so many levels. It keeps you fit, and also I think it's a good way to relax and reflect at the end of a day. It's a sport that anybody can do. I have to admit that I'm not the best or most talented runner. I'm the least graceful runner. But what I have going for me is my hard head, and that's what gets me across to my destinations.
Motivation, because again, like we have talked about, it's one thing to say, hey, I'm going to run across the state. It's another thing to actually do it, and to do it every single day for the next 120 days. So how do you motivate yourself to do this kind of task?
You just put in your mind that, okay, I'm here, I set out to do this, and just do it. The hardest thing about running is actually getting up in the morning and running 50 kilometers, especially since you've run previous 50 kilometers the days before and you've not yet fully recovered. But you're committed to doing it, and you just have to get up, and once you start, there you go, you know. You just finally, you see yourself at the end of your destination again.
How do you apply like what you're doing running to life, to maybe some of the other people who are going through maybe other obstacles and, you know, in their life? What kind of message should they get from you running across the United States?
Well, you know, yeah, life is really, they compare life to a marathon. I think you've heard that analogy, but yeah, it's really tough. I mean, you know, the roads are never always flat. There are rolling courses, there are uphill stretches, but then, yeah, and it can be painful and very difficult, especially if you do it day after day and the body gets really weary. But at a certain point, I know it all just changes. If you just keep pursuing, keep pushing on, things get better actually. Things get better.
And last question, what message do you want to give to the Filipino people back at home in the Philippines, of course, and to the many Filans here?
Well, to all the Filipinos, both in the Philippines and the United States, we just want to say hello. We need your help in prayers and good thoughts. Please send them our way in the next 120 days starting May 10. We look forward to seeing you on the road, and we'll see you in New York.
And Chuck, you also, of course, you know, we have a number of sponsors, you know, from Western Union, Asian Journal, Adidas, of course. You know, how could the people here, you know, contribute?
Well, we'd like to raise funds for people who have TB, for people who need the heart surgery, and you can do that. Chip in at the Takbong Pangarap channel at www.thepoc.net. There's instructions there how Filipinos across the country, across the world can contribute. And we'll be posting the developments of our run in the website.
So, Joy, are you going to be the next Forrest Gump?
Yeah, minus the beard. No, I'll still be Joy. I'll still be Joy.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.